got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. We've got a Friday game for the University of Memphis Tigers in Tulane at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Should be a fairly decent situation there. I think that most of the rain will be out of here pretty quickly, and we should dry out. And of course, from the optical standpoint, Saturday, the annular solar eclipse will go on. That starts late morning, continues through the early afternoon hours of Saturday. I think around the peak of it, I think it's around 12:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. And we should have a good view of it as long as we have sunshine across the area. Now, keep in mind, it's not going to be the ring of fire, at least here locally. You're going to see the moon move in front of the sun, but it will be at about 60% coverage. So if you want to find yourself underneath that ring of fire, you got to go farther west, heading out towards Texas and Oklahoma. But still a cool sight nonetheless. And the next time that we will see an annular eclipse, I think is really like 2028, where we'll have a partial solar eclipse that will be going on. Or next time we see a total solar eclipse will be 2024. The next time we see a partial solar eclipse will be 2028 after that. No problem.
All right, so now back to the Hamas attack on Israel. We want to let you know that members of St. Patrick Catholic Church downtown.
What? Huh? Oh, because I forgot my thing again. Again, for the second day in a row. Morning.
Good morning.
Ciao. Cool as a cucumber this morning, 40s and 50s as you're heading out the door. Our next weather maker a couple days down the road. One system coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico will skirt just past us, brings us some clouds, but that's about it. The next system, moisture starved system, pushes across our neck of the woods by Friday. That brings us a chance for a few showers and another blast of cooler air. In the meantime, though, upper 70s and low 80s for high temperatures, overnights in the 50s and 60s. Best chances for rain coming up Friday before clearing out and cooling off for the weekend.
Fast. Hung out with her and her boyfriend and all that good stuff. Went out to some nights eat.
This is an Action News 5 update.
Good morning, everyone. 7:26, the time on a Monday. I'm Andrew Douglas. Some of the stories we are following for you at this hour. Covington police looking into a deadly shooting that happened around Loon Lane and Bluebird Cove. According to police, 22-year-old Hakeem Kirby was shot and killed inside a car. Officers say there is a second victim, but their status is unknown at this time. We are awaiting Mayor-elect Paul Young's transition plan before he takes office in January. He won last week's election with 27% of the vote in a crowded field of 17 candidates. His first day on the job is January 1st. Let's get an update on the forecast. It is a chilly morning. Meteorologist Patrick Ellis has details.
Yeah, starting on 40s and 50s this morning, but a beautiful sight here from our High 5 camera and Olive Branch. The sun now cracking the eastern horizon. Not going to get much better than this, especially this time of the year. We've dipped down to 54 officially at Memphis International at this hour, 50 in Olive Branch, 46 right now at Potts Camp. We're starting off 43 in Batesville and Panola County. Good morning to you. You're the cool spot. Temperatures continue their upward trend towards the upper 70s and low 80s today. Lots of sunshine to go around. Take out east, and again, the temperature starting off in the 50s. By lunchtime, we're in the 70s and working our way back up towards near 80 degrees before it's all said and done. Lots of sun through today. Tomorrow, clouds thickening up. Late Tuesday into Wednesday will give way to sunshine. We'll keep with sunshine and mixing with clouds for Thursday ahead of a rain system Friday and cooling down for the weekend.
Your first alert traffic report, sponsored by Gateway Tires.
And not too bad on the roadways. If you take a look at my traffic map this morning, seeing all green, and anytime we see all green, you know you're in the clear this morning. Let me take you outside just to show you what we're working with. If you were with us this morning, you know we had a situation in St. Francis County off of I-40 in the eastbound direction. Emergency crews were trying to get a tractor trailer off of the roadway, and they did that. I don't know what just happened with that, but we're all good to go for your ride out for those of you traveling on I-40 and Arkansas.
Okay, you can get the latest headlines at actionnews5.com. Another update in 30 minutes.
Oh, gosh. Thanks for joining us here on Action News 5. Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are talking a great day of weather across the Mid-South as we roll through this Monday to kick off the new work week. And for some folks on fall break, I think you got some great weather to contend with for the most of it, though there will be some opportunities for rain coming back in here soon enough. We need the rainfall, let's be honest with ourselves. But today it's going to be all dry. Morning temperatures in the 40s and 50s on our way up into the upper 70s and lower 80s. There are opportunities for rain, but it's not going to be a ton of rain coming in our direction. This looks through Friday evening, and notice a chance for a couple of passing showers but not a lot. This is a moisture-starved system that will be moving across the area. But the moisture-starved system will bring us another blast of cooler air by the upcoming weekend. Let's get you through the next few days. In the short term, going with a weak front that's actually to the north of us up near Cape Girardeau this morning. We'll swing through here today. That will be able to boost the numbers up into the upper 70s and low 80s. Notice the cooler numbers up there in southern Missouri, southeast Missouri, going for highs in low 70s today, while we'll be upper 70s close to 80 before it's all said and done. Mostly clear tonight, dropping back into the 40s and 50s, some sprinkled in upper 40s, but I think more spots will be lower 50s starting off on your Tuesday. From there, again, upper 70s and lower 80s. You'll start to see a few more clouds beginning to build in from the south during the latter portion of the day. We'll turn mostly cloudy actually overnight, Tuesday into Wednesday. It will stay dry though. North and eastern areas of Arkansas could stay mostly clear. Again, we're going to be right on the edge of a cloud shield from a bigger storm system that will be making its presence known across the Gulf Coast. And that system will pull away pretty quickly. So as the clouds start to clear out, sunshine returns, and we're right back into the lower 80s before you know it on Wednesday afternoon. This is the storm system right here. And again, mostly just rain opportunities for southern Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, as well as Georgia. For us, we're staying dry. Now, if you were watching last week, we were talking about the potential that these two systems could combine. Not looking to be the case at this point. That would actually have helped us out, brought us a better chance for rainfall across the area, but unfortunately just not the case. So this is the moisture-laden system. It scours everything out and doesn't leave enough for this system to bring a ton of rain in our direction. Now, will we get some opportunities for rain? Yes, but pretty paltry in comparison to what's going to be happening down to the south. Do they need the rainfall? Yes, but we also need it here as well. In the meantime, again, the weather pretty quiet for us. Lots of sunshine here on your Monday. High temperatures, again, upper 70s and low 80s. Same thing for tomorrow in the wake of that weak system. Again, we'll see a few more clouds beginning to build in here late portions of your Tuesday. That'll lead us up to a cloudy start on Wednesday, but I think we give way to sunshine by midday with temperatures back up in the lower 80s. Same thing on Thursday. Chance of a late day shower, but the better rain chances coming in here Friday as that system works its way across the region that will usher in the cooler air, taking us into the upcoming weekend. Hey, lots of sunshine here. 7:48 on a Monday morning. Lots of sunshine as you're taking a live look outside from our High 5 camera in Olive Branch. 50s and 40s to start off the day across the metro area. From those morning 50s, we'll continue the upward trend. By lunchtime, we're in the middle 70s. A great outdoor candidate for lunch today. Gorgeous day. Lots of sunshine on our way to the upper 70s and low 80s before it's all said and done. Should be a quiet night ahead. Mostly clear down to the 50s to start off early Tuesday morning. Clouds will start to thicken up by the end of the week with a chance for rain by Friday.
This is an Action News 5 Live update.
Hey, time right now is 7:56 here on a Monday morning. A lot of folks have the day off. We've got schools out across much of the Mid-South as well for fall break for West Tennessee all the way through this week, and at least for Mississippi, here today. Of course, the weather going to continue to be pretty quiet for us as we go through the next couple of days. First alert Doppler radar is all dry, and we'll probably keep it that way between now and probably the end of this week. Of course, right now it's full sunshine from our High 5 camera in Olive Branch. Of course, we'll keep it going here this morning. 59 officially at Memphis International. Is 50 right now in Olive Branch, 50 also in Tunica. Got still upper 40s down in Oxford, middle 40s in Batesville to start off the day. And we'll continue that upward trend towards 80 degrees before it's all said and done, and a ton of sunshine to go around. Mostly sunny for your Tuesday. Clouds in the morning, sunshine by the afternoon Wednesday as the system pushes across the northern Gulf. Clouds will start to roll back in here late Thursday. Eventually a chance for a few showers by Friday, and another cool down on the way for the upcoming weekend.
Your first alert traffic report, sponsored by Gateway Tires.
With many having the day off, I really think you are going to enjoy your morning ride out. Usually around this time, we have a lot of red developing on my map. That's not the case this morning. It's still pretty quiet on your ride out. Let me show you what it looks like outside. This is a live look near 240 at Poplar. You know how busy Poplar and Walnut Grove gets in that direction, but not too crowded just now. I do see an emergency truck parked over on the shoulders, not impacting traffic flow, so that's a good sign. This is 385 just past Ridgeway as you're making your way towards 240. You can see traffic nice and light. All the lanes are open and moving, and that's really just a trend around the area from Memphis to Arkansas to Mississippi. Go ahead and give you a green light for your ride out. Good morning. I got the, can we kill programming? Yeah, it's fine. Good morning. I'm Taylor Tucker. Here are your top stories from the Mid-South. The death toll in the attack on Israel over the weekend is now at least 700. One more time. The death. Good morning, I'm Taylor Tucker. Here are your top stories from the Mid-South. The death toll in the attack on Israel over the weekend is leaving 700 at least, left at least. Good morning, I'm Taylor Tucker. Here are your top stories from the Mid-South. The death toll on the attack on Israel left at least 700 people. That includes at least 4 Americans dead. We sat down with Memphis Rabbi Micah Greenstein. He leads Temple Israel here in Memphis. He was on his way when the war broke out, and as fighting continues, he said it's about evil and being able to know wherever you live, you can go to sleep and not be terrorized. Greenstein says he's praying for the Jewish people and for their peace.
America is Israel's greatest ally because we share the same values of democracy and freedom and a civilized society, not a dark one that leads to what happened in Israel yesterday.
Over the weekend, President Biden said the U.S. is and always will be by Israel's side, ordering several U.S. military vessels to the war zone. And all clear at Graceland, visitors had to evacuate after a bomb threat was reported. Memphis responded to the threat just before 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. Officers then helped everyone evacuate across the street. Investigators searched Graceland and did not find any threats. Those are your headlines from the Mid-South.
nothing but sunshine as you're heading out the door this morning, approaching 8:20 here on a Monday. As we take a live look from Olive Branch right now, 55 degrees there, 59 in Memphis, 57 West Memphis, we're 57 also for Dyersburg, 52 in Corinth, Mississippi. On our way up into the upper 70s and low 80s here today. Beautiful day of weather setting up for us across the Mid-South. No major problems. Again, our easternmost communities by lunchtime in the middle 70s, on our way to the upper 70s and near 80 degrees before it's all said and done. A chance for a few showers by the end of the week.
This is an Action News 5 update.
Hey, it's 8:26 here on a Monday morning. A live look from our High 5 camera at the University of Memphis. Kick off the day pretty quiet for you this morning. Lots of sunshine across the Mid-South as you're starting off your Monday morning. 52 in Somerville. Good morning to our friends in Fayette County. 46 still in Potts Camp. 55 as you're starting off in Olive Branch. 56 in Tunica. 57 right now in West Memphis. And we're 56 Blytheville as well as Harrisburg. So from here we can see that upward trend towards the upper 70s and lower 80s. Lots of sun across the board all day long. Low humidity also going to play into this as well. Keep in mind we've been very dry as of late. Probably not the best idea to get out to do some burning today because those embers could get away from you pretty quickly and cause some issues fairly quickly as well. In the meantime, again, the weather pretty quiet throughout much of this week. A chance for a few showers and a cool down by the end of the week.
Your first alert traffic report, sponsored by Gateway Tires.
827, still quiet on the roadways as well. If you take a look out, this is 240 between Walnut Grove and Poplar. Usually this is a busier area. Really not the case today, so you are free to travel in either direction there. Let's hop on to 40 at Hollywood. That entire stretch of 40 is like a ghost town, really. We got a few cars out and about, but all the lanes are open and moving, so no need to rush for your morning ride out because that's really just the trend from Memphis to Arkansas to Mississippi. We're all in the clear this morning.
Heading out the door this morning, nice and quiet across the Mid-South. 50s and 60s will translate towards the 70s and 80s later on today. We'll work our way down to the 40s and 50s again to start off on your Tuesday. More sunshine on the way, though clouds will start to thicken up as we head into your Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We'll start there with clouds giving way to sunshine and a rebound in numbers back up towards the lower 80s before it's all said and done. Chance for a couple of showers by Friday ahead of our frontal system that will bring us some cooler weather by Saturday and Sunday.
I had this cute dress I want to wear this weekend to go out, but you're making it seem like it's about to be like cold and
It does look like we are on schedule for normal this week.
maybe. Oh, okay. Craig.
This is an Action News 5 update.
Good morning to you. It is 8:56. I'm Ariana Poindexter. Here are your top stories of the morning. Peabody Elementary School will not be reopening until fall of 2024 next year. This after mold was found just last month. Students and faculty will remain at Middle College where they have been for the past month until further notice. The district also told us that both Peabody and Middle College High School will be undergoing repairs. MLGW customers will see an increase in their bill in 2024. That increase, an extra $5 each month starting in January. The increase will amount to about $15 by 2026. The president and CEO, Doug McGowan, says this increase is necessary because the extra money will be used to strengthen the system. All right, getting you out the door this week. How are things looking this morning, Patrick?
So far, so good, Ari. We are looking with full sunshine this morning and keeping it going throughout the day ahead. Here's a live look from our High 5 camera at the University of Memphis. Nice and quiet this morning. Of course, the full sunshine that we're continuing with here at this hour. 64, the current number at Memphis International, 63 presently as we're stepping out in Olive Branch. And again, the temperatures continue to buoy their way upward towards the upper 70s and lower 80s before it's all said and done. Should be mostly quiet and clear tonight. Overnight lows down into the 40s and 50s starting off on Tuesday, and we'll rebound nicely towards the lower 80s and upper 70s for your Tuesday. There's a chance for a few showers by Friday before another cool down by the upcoming weekend.
All right, and you can get the latest headlines at actionnews5.com, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We'll have more news and weather for you coming up on Action News 5 midday at 11.
Getting your foot in the door, starting on the ground floor and really working your way up and using some really strong work ethic in the beginning can help get you a seat at the table.
But new hires can lose that chance pretty quickly by making some immature mistakes.
Either you can come into a new opportunity with a little too much confidence and put your foot in your mouth and get in your own way, thinking that you're the smartest person in the room, and that can hinder your growth potential.
And it's not just your actions that matter. Researchers say oversharing at work can keep you from moving up. Don't share social media handles. What you post may not line up with your company's policy. Also, keep personal information, personal family arguments, venting about your partner, and details about a past traumatic experience. They're never good things to bring up and to talk about at work. Owning up to your mistakes is a good thing, but successful people never reveal irrelevant past failures. Telling people about your failures will make them remember them. Another rookie mistake, not asking questions. Remember, you're new to the job, but you do have something to offer. If you don't speak up now, sooner or later, no one will listen when you do. Another mistake first-time hires make is not having a career path mapped out. You should meet with your supervisor every 4 to 6 months or so just to make sure you're reaching your goals. And don't expect your employer to keep track for you. Your next promotion relies on you making the right moves. All right, let's talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. They are back. Preseason game last night, the first one. It was against the Indiana Pacers. The starting lineup featured former Memphis Tiger star, former NBA MVP, I should say, Derrick Rose. He saw his first action as a Grizzly, scored the first points, finished with 13 points. This game went into overtime. It was tied at 122 in the extra period. Same score, just over 10 seconds left. Pacers missed a free throw, and then on purpose, though, they tried to get the rebound. That didn't work, and Jake LaRavia drops in a dagger with a one-handed left slam. Grizzlies, there it is. Grizzlies win this one 127-122 over Indiana. Home again tomorrow night against the Milwaukee Bucks. And this week, our play of the week is a little different. A ton of new murals went up over the weekend in Memphis. This one is sure to excite and make Grizzly fans maybe growl a little bit. It's of Derrick Rose or the Grizzly Bear on the side of the unmarked building between Sun Studio and Edgewater Museum. It's on Marshall Avenue. The mural is by Chicago artist Milt Corndano. He gets our play of the week for creating this image. Go Tigers, go, and go Grizzlies. There's a new way to save people on their monthly student loan bills, and the program is actually an acronym. The acronym is SAVE, Saving on Valuable Education Plan. Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa tells us how it works.
With student loan payments resuming October 1st, we're taking a look at the new SAVE plan being offered by the government. Eligible borrowers can enroll in this new income-driven repayment plan that could lower monthly bills and reduce the amount paid over the lifetime of a student loan. Once the plan is phased in, some people will see their monthly bills cut in half and remaining debt canceled after making at least 10 years in payments. Cherry Dale, a financial coach with the Virginia Credit Union, says if you're single and make $32,800 a year, you would qualify for a zero payment option.
You do want to keep in mind, they're not erasing that debt. That debt is still there, right? And you still owe it. And so even if you're not making those payments on there, that debt load is still in your name. However, it won't impact your credit, or you won't be in bad standing if you enter into the program and you qualify for those zero payments each month.
Under the SAVE plan, a qualifying family of 4 earning $67,500 or less also might not owe a payment. She says if you make your monthly payment, your loan balance won't grow because of unpaid interest.
Let's say they don't owe anything each month. That doesn't mean they don't necessarily make any payment. They could still make a $50 payment. They just don't have to. But if they're making that $50 payment, it's going to that principal of the loan, and you are starting to pay that loan down and what you owe.
If you'd like to enroll and see if you qualify, you can go over to studentaid.gov. There's a message at the top of the website that says, learn more about the SAVE plan. With This Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas in the Action News 5 digital desk. A new survey, nearly half of Americans with student loans are worried that the end of this repayment pause will negatively impact their lives. We're talking about 4 out of 5 borrowers say that they'll have to make financial changes as payments resume next month. We've been talking about this for months now. Let's bring in someone who can talk a little bit more about this topic. I'm joined now by Dr. Billy Hensley, President and CEO, National Endowment for Financial Education. Dr. Hensley, thank you for joining us on the digital desk. We know that next month, October, many borrowers with student loan balances will see their payments resumed. What does this new survey really reveal about borrowers right now? Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, for the first time in well over 3 years, interest is accruing as of this month, and payments are due next month. And with our poll, we wanted to explore the potential impact on their finances and really that of their inner circle as well. Their children, their parents, spouses, and grandchildren even. And as you said, half are anxious and worried about the end of repayment, the repayment pause, and how that will impact their lives. 83% will have to make financial changes. 23% anticipate cutting between $500 and $1,000 out of their monthly budget. 1 in 10 plan to cut more than $1,000 a month out of their budget. So when you include that inner circle number, the borrowers plus those that maybe they're a direct relationship with that owe, that's about a quarter of U.S. adults who may need to cut spending, and that's going to be felt locally and nationally in the economy.
How so? How is it going to be felt locally and nationally?
Sure. When you're cutting $500, $700, $1,000 a month out of your discretionary spending, or even out of your sort of necessary spending, that's fewer dollars going into local shops. That's fewer dollars going into the grocery store, the markets, the gas tank, for example. And so that affects businesses and so forth. So when you are changing the amount of dollars that someone has to spend easily, or whether they're living paycheck to paycheck even, it will be felt in those local economies and then more broadly.
All right, so let's talk about some of the considerations for borrowers who owe student loans. And are there any where payments were paused in the past, and perhaps this is something, some sort of relief given to them this time?
Well, the silver lining here is that about half made most or every payment during the pause break. 30%, though, did not make any payments. We did find out last month that over 800,000 people received notice that at least some level of cancellation was available to them. Maybe they were in an income-driven repayment plan, or as the Department of Education is calling it, administrative failures in terms of forgiveness.
So best estimate, I mean, what should people do now? Obviously, next month they're going to have to start repaying. Should they contact, the borrower or the lender and say, I'd like to set up a payment plan? What are your best methods for making sure this goes well next month?
Well, most borrowers probably have received some sort of formal indication that repayment has begun or will begin soon. And those statements typically go out about 3 weeks or so before the first payment is due. I would encourage all borrowers to go to studentaid.gov. They have a great calculator on that website where you can put your information in, and it will tell you what's the best and most beneficial repayment plan for your circumstance. I know a lot of borrowers, a lot of individuals have heard terms like consolidation. When you are looking at what to do next, understand that there are big differences between public and private loans, and public meaning the Department of Education loans. But use caution when you're exploring these, in particular the private loans, because you don't qualify for certain kinds of debt relief. Make sure you're paying attention and looking out for scams. This topic is getting so much attention right now, and there's a lot of people trying to take advantage of that. So protect your information. If something is too good to be true, it is, and no fee. You'll never be asked to pay a fee to apply for federal relief. Paying a fee will not improve your odds. It will not speed up the process. And there may be new repayment programs out there, some just being launched in the last few months, that will lower your payments based on your income, based on your total, how long you've been paying. So spend some time educating yourself. Reach out to your student loan servicer. Go to studentaid.gov, which is the website for federal financial aid, and find out as much information as possible.
That sounds great. That's great advice, Dr. Hensley. Anything else we can touch on before we let you go this morning?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say, for any high school student, families with high school students or college students, ask about financial education instruction. In states or in schools where financial education is a graduation requirement, it's very clear that those students graduate from college with less debt, less revolving debt, less student loan debt, higher credit scores. And we've made progress. There are 23 states now that have a graduation requirement. 6 of those just passed this year. And so people are applying for aid at a much higher rate. They're filling out the FAFSA, which will be released in December this year, which is a little later than usual. And those students, and all students, should explore and understand the difference between scholarships and grants and loans, and borrow the right amount. Don't borrow too much, and even too little even. Make sure you know the difference between the public and private loans, and always center yourself on the long-term return on the degree that you're studying and the earning potential available in that field.
All right, Dr. Billy Hensley, President and CEO, National Endowment for Financial Education. Really appreciate the deep dive on this student repayment process and what people are going to be expecting next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hustle. Hustle, put in the hours, put in the work.
It's a tale of 2 entrepreneurs, 2 Memphis men, 2 separate businesses, and both using Memphis swag to put the city on the map.
Crank this thing up and make sure the city and anybody that lives outside of the city now can really love and enjoy and really show off where you were born, or where you just feel like you belong.
Brandon Hobbs is the founder of M-Town Merch, selling Memphis-based swag that you can wear to sporting events around town or simply relaxing at home.
The sweatshirt I have on right now are Big Block M sweatshirt. Our Memphis Speed Shop hat is amazing. People love it. We get a lot of great feedback on it. Our jerseys and our jersey shorts, it's great to see them around town. People are wearing them all the time, and it's refreshing to see.
Ronald Watson is the founder of Premier Design, a sports novelty company. It produces fan chains for Memphis-based teams, an idea that originated from wanting to represent his favorite teams in a different fashion.
I said, when I go to the Super Bowl party, I'm going to have something on that nobody else has. Because you've seen fan chains for years that just have the foam logos like this. And I decided, I said, well, I'm going to take it off and put a helmet on mine. I'm going to be totally different.
In a city with a lot of pride, entrepreneurs are using their merchandise to reflect their grit and grind, something many local owners have in common.
You have to really have thick skin in Memphis. So if you can stand up to the adversity, if you can stand up to anyone saying you can't, or saying, just not liking you for any general reason, you can make it anyway.
Once you get the public behind you and they see that you have a good product and see the type of person you are, they typically stay behind you.
In Memphis, Taylor Tucker.
There's a sweet shop in Memphis that really has a sweet mission, giving job experience and training to adults with special needs. Kim Clark has more in this 5-star show.
About the only thing better than the smell of warm toffee is eating it. And Bluff City Toffee, tucked away in the Sanderland Club Plaza on Sanderland Avenue, has some delicious options. Just ask Livy Aldridge, one of the trainees who weighs, bags, and gift wraps those options.
Yeah, I like working here because I put toffee in packets and popcorn and maybe cookies too.
So we have 3 different types of toffee. We have milk chocolate pecan toffee, we have dark chocolate pecan toffee with some sea salt on top, and white chocolate macadamia nut toffee. Then we have our butter toffee popcorn.
Rob Crone is a supervisor at Madonna Learning Center as well as production manager at Bluff City Toffee, training adults in that center's vocational program. Ethan Thomas has been with the Learning Center since 2011. He says he loves it and his job at Bluff City Toffee.
I like doing the popcorn
Why do you like doing the popcorn?
because it smells good.
Bluff City Toffee is not the only job opportunity available to the trainees at Madonna Learning Center.
And so that is a full-on job training program from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Half the day they're at different job sites, and then afternoon they're at more job sites, and it's different every day. That's one way we kind of get our foot in the door and show companies that it's okay to hire our community. They'll be probably your best employees, they'll be on time, they'll work hard, and they will not stop until the job is done.
Crone points out the program is also a great opportunity for the adult trainees to work in an encouraging environment with their friends. In addition to her work at Bluff City Toffee, Katie Olson also works part-time at St. Agnes Academy.
And I'm a pre-K teaching assistant. I'm working with 4-year-old kids, and the kids will come to me and tell me, it's Miss Katie.
Madonna Learning Center bought Bluff City Toffee late last year. Since then, business has boomed.
Around 4,000% increase from sales last year to this year, and it is not slowing down.
Crone says online sales are huge with custom orders, corporate gifts, and weddings, but he hopes to get more foot traffic into the store as well. Either way, you can munch on the sweetness coming out of this shop, knowing the people who made the confections did it with love.
This main part of being with your coworkers and getting part of the team.
We're working hard.
I feel so good working here and I have my friends.
Bluff City Toffee, another sweet success that makes us proud to call Memphis home. In East Memphis, Kim Clark, Action News 5.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are talking a great day of weather across the Mid-South as we roll through this Monday to kick off the new work week. And for some folks on fall break, I think you got some great weather to contend with for most of it, though there will be some opportunities for rain coming back in here soon enough. We need the rainfall, let's be honest with ourselves. But today it's going to be all dry. Morning temperatures in the 40s and 50s on our way up into the upper 70s and lower 80s. There are opportunities for rain, but it's not going to be a ton of rain coming in our direction. This looks through Friday evening, and notice a chance for a couple of passing showers. but not a lot. This is a moisture starved system that will be moving across the area. But the moisture starved system will bring us another blast of cooler air by the upcoming weekend. Let's get you through the next few days. In the short term, going with a weak front that's actually to the north of us up near Cape Girardeau this morning. We'll swing through here today. That will be able to boost the numbers up into the upper 70s and low 80s. Notice the cooler numbers up there in southern Missouri, southeast Missouri, going for highs in low 70s today, while we'll be upper 70s close to 80 before it's all said and done. Mostly clear tonight, dropping back into the 40s and 50s, some sprinkled in upper 40s, but I think more spots will be lower 50s starting off on your Tuesday. From there, again, upper 70s and lower 80s. You'll start to see a few more clouds beginning to build in from the south during the latter portion of the day. We'll turn mostly cloudy actually overnight, Tuesday into Wednesday. We'll stay dry though. North and eastern areas of Arkansas could stay mostly clear. Again, we're going to be right on the edge of a cloud shield from a bigger storm system that will be making its presence known across the Gulf Coast. And that system will pull away pretty quickly. So as the clouds start to clear out, sunshine returns, and we're right back into the lower 80s before you know it on Wednesday afternoon. This is the storm system right here. And again, mostly just rain opportunities for southern Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, as well as Georgia. For us, we're staying dry. Now, if you were watching last week, we were talking about the potential that these two systems could combine. Not looking to be the case at this point. That would actually have helped us out, brought us a better chance for rainfall across the area, but unfortunately just not the case. So this is the moisture-laden system. It scours everything out and doesn't leave enough for this system to bring a ton of rain in our direction. Now, will we get some opportunities for rain? Yes, but pretty paltry in comparison to what's going to be happening down to the south. Do they need the rainfall? Yes, but we also need it here as well. In the meantime, again, the weather pretty quiet for us. Lots of sunshine here on your Monday. High temperatures, again, upper 70s and low 80s. Same thing for tomorrow in the wake of that weak system. Again, we'll see a few more clouds beginning to build in here late portions of your Tuesday. That'll lead us up to a cloudy start on Wednesday, but I think we give way to sunshine by midday with temperatures back up in the lower 80s. Same thing on Thursday. Chance of a late day shower, but the better rain chances coming in here Friday as that system works its way across the region that will usher in the cooler air, taking us into the upcoming weekend.
You know, here in Memphis in the Mid-South, we have a big aviation community here. A lot of pilots from all over. Certainly FedEx employs several thousands that are here in Memphis in the Mid-South. Well, I want to bring in one pilot, a woman by the name of Cindy Berwin. She's a volunteer pilot for Orbis International, the leading nonprofit in fighting against avoidable blindness. Cindy, good morning to you. Tell me about your connection to blindness and how Orbis has allowed you to have an impact in this regard. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, absolutely. So, well, I initially got involved with Orbis because I was a pilot and because I heard about what FedEx was doing to contribute to the Orbis mission. I was working at FedEx. I really was impressed by what we're able to do with Orbis by helping people with avoidable blindness and teaching doctors around the world and networking to make a better situation. So I then, after getting involved with Orbis, had a very close touch with it, with blindness, as I have a granddaughter that was born blind. So she is now 6 years old, and I've been working with Orbis for about 12 years, and I can relate a lot better now to the people that we help worldwide after seeing the challenges she's been with. But another thing that's kind of interesting is pilots are super interested in their eyes, their vision. And so that's another connection right there, is every pilot is super interested in maintaining his vision.
Yeah, I totally understand why. I mean, it's it's so important for pilots out there. So tell me, Orbis helps people against avoidable blindness. What is considered avoidable blindness?
Well, I'm not a doctor, I'm a pilot, so I can't really address all of the situations, but there's a lot of things that's just your eyes indicate your general health and well-being. So there's things such as glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, things that can come up just from just bugs in the water that we drink and other things like that. So there are a lot of things that can be treated just by general wellness and self-care. But making the medical treatment available around the world is something that's difficult. So there's places in Africa that get an eye infection that causes blindness, and it can be treated by an antibiotic, but the water system isn't very clean. So some of that is a lot of education and taking care of yourself.
So let me ask you this, because I know that we have thousands of people watching us here on the Digital Desk each and every morning, and perhaps many of them might not be familiar with Orbis International. Can you talk briefly about the mission statement?
Absolutely. So the thing with Orbis International is it is a nonprofit, non-government agency that that has a mission of going around the world and treating avoidable blindness, and teaching people how to take care of themselves, teaching doctors how to treat, and mentoring people, getting equipment available for the mission there. But what happened was originally there was an eye doctor who was working down in South America, and he found that there were a lot of countries where either the doctors didn't have the money or couldn't get the visas to fly to the countries that have the education available. So this fellow thought, well, maybe we can outfit an airplane and bring the education to them. So that was the start of Orbis, and they got a donated DC-8 actually from United Airlines and started that way. And then the mission grew over the years, and they moved to a DC-10 that was purchased by 4 private individuals and donated to Orbis. And then the latest iteration of the airplane is an MD-10 donated by FedEx to the Orbis Corporation. And what they do is it's got a full eye hospital in the back with all of the latest operating room lasers, machines that can treat the major problems that we see around the world, and we fly that into those countries, and then while we're on the ground there, they come on board and they do the surgeries. We teach in many different ways, so it's a fully accredited U.S. teaching hospital, but the doctors come from many different countries. There's over 300 volunteer medical personnel that help out from over 40 countries. And so it's truly a global thing. And then they also have the ability to broadcast from the aircraft, and they do a CyberSight feature where they can teach online medical procedures. So it's truly a network where doctors in some countries see much worse conditions than what they see in maybe the UK or the US or something like that. And so they work together to find a solution to the problem.
That sounds amazing. I mean, it really does sound incredible, the work that Orbis International does. And of course, you, Cindy, doing all this as a volunteer pilot. That sounds amazing. I want to go back to what you said earlier, Cindy, about your granddaughter was born blind. Tell me more about that and how that helps you in this whole process working for Orbis and the people that Orbis is helping.
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that I noticed I really like to stay and help with the programs when I'm flying the airplane into some of the countries that we go into. And I noticed that blindness has such a huge effect on people. So one of the things that touched me initially was when a child sees their parents for the first time. So they come onto the aircraft blind. They know their parents' touch, they know their parents' voice, but they've never seen their parents before. And they can be treated with the medical procedure and then instantly see. And the first time they see their parents, it's more than just a familiarity or a happiness. It's a solid joy. But it goes the other way as well. When a grandparent sees the grandchild for the first time, maybe they've lost their sight over time, and they're so pleased to be able to do that. But one of the stories from Orbis that I really loved was a child that was working and unable to go to school because his grandmother, who was the worst person taking care of the household, was blind. Well, once she was cured of her blindness, he was able to go and start school. And it made such a difference in his life because in some countries, you're not able to be a productive member of your community when you're blind. You actually pull your family down a little bit. So it's really about, education, equality, and economy, where somebody can help. But you don't think we're going to get blindness in our own country here in the United States. And there's some rare syndromes that are happening. My granddaughter was born with something called optic nerve hypoplasia. I think that's what it's called, ONH. And what happens there is the optic nerve never fully connects between the brain and the eyes. So there's no way to have any vision in the eyes. The eyes are good, the brain is good, but there's no connection between the two. And perhaps someday we'll find a cure for that. But, for now, that's just something that she'll live with. But she's really bright, and she is able to do Braille, and she's able to find her way. She started kindergarten this year, and we're so pleased to watch her get on and off the bus with her cane and everything. And she's very verbal, and don't whisper around her because she'll hear it for sure.
That's fantastic. I love you went and you mentioned the video of some people when Orbis International helps those people. The child is able to see for the first time their parents. I love seeing those videos. They're so emotional. There's such impact there. It's incredible work that Orbis International does. If someone's watching and they want to learn more about this incredible nonprofit, what's the best thing to do?
Google Orbis International, and that's a really great way of finding the information. It's a total nonprofit, so it's funded completely by donations. And one of the most interesting things about it is there's very low costs outside of the actual operation. And so almost 99% of the money that's donated goes directly to the Orbis mission. And we're working on it in so many different ways with the cyber site, with the airplane. The pilots flying the airplane are very, very conscious of the cost of moving that airplane around. So we're very careful about how we treat it. And it's an older airplane. It was built in 1973, and it looks like a brand new airplane when you walk on board because we maintain it and clean it so carefully. So it's
that's amazing. That is
we're
amazing.
Careful with that.
Yeah, Cindy Berwin, really appreciate the deep dive into Orbis International, what you and the good folks at that nonprofit do for people around the world who are suffering from avoidable blindness. Cindy, great conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the Digital Desk. We appreciate all the work that you and Orbis does each and every day. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Well, life is full of transitions, isn't it? I mean, you think about it. Throughout your life, no matter what season, big or small, we're constantly going through transitions. Some are planned, others are unexpected. No matter how they happen, it can be challenging for us. It could be anything from getting married, moving to a new house, a new job, thinking about retirement, going into retirement. So how do we handle this the best way possible? Let's bring in someone, an expert, who can really kind of help us with life's transition. I'm joined now by licensed professional counselor Elizabeth Drain. She's with Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare to talk more about life's transitions and how to handle them. If you had the best piece of advice, Elizabeth, the number one piece of advice when people are going through transitions, what would it be first and foremost? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
First, most importantly, I would like to say it's very important to understand that, you know, different transitions, everyone handles differently, you know, depending on one's personality, coping mechanism, support system. All of those things make a difference in terms of how you handle life transitions. However, I would like to discuss 8 coping strategies that can be implemented daily to assist you in navigating these challenges. Okay, so the first one I would say, accept change as a normal part of life. Transitions in life are the easiest for those who possess this attitude. I would also recommend identifying and express your feelings. While trying to push away feelings or fear and anxiety is normal, acknowledging them can help you get over them faster and make them real by writing them down and taking the time to reflect on them. You can reduce these influences over you by acknowledging and expressing these emotions.
So let me ask you what you said off the first one, Elizabeth. You mentioned change is a normal part of life. You know, there are so many people out there that says, I don't like change. I like doing what I'm doing right now. I don't want to change. Where do people have the most problems when it comes to transitions? Is it something that they're dealing with before the transition, the thoughts in their head before actually doing it, or is it something else?
I would say it's probably a combination of all of those things. You know, we're most comfortable with things that we're familiar with. And so when life throws us what I would call change or curveballs, things that we were not expecting, then it takes us out of our comfort zone. And so now we're having challenges navigating the change because it's unfamiliar to us. So absolutely.
You know, I know you mentioned 8 coping strategies, and I want you to continue with that. But I do want to have a little dialogue here because I find it interesting that. You're right. I mean, like, we're all going through transitions. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, raising children, of course, and buying a house, getting married, moving to a new city, starting a new job. I mean, everyone's going through that. And you mentioned, you know, right after accepting the fact that there's going to be change in your life, identifying your feelings and expressing your feelings. I mean, it's so important to just, you know, understand why you're feeling the way that you feel, right?
Absolutely. When you can understand and process how you're feeling, why you're feeling those that way, then it makes it a little bit easier for you to cope or plan ahead and problem solve around those feelings that you're having. And as I mentioned, writing those feelings down gives you the opportunity to reflect on them. You know, oftentimes when we're thinking about things, we just reminisce over and over and over, and it just kind of stays stuck in our head. So when we put it on paper, it kind of makes things real, and it gives us the opportunity to process what we're thinking and not just think about it.
I totally agree. So, so continue on with your list of 8 coping strategies.
Okay, so the third one would be focus on the payoff. Consider the lesson you have taken away from previous transitions. Recall the steps you took and what you learned and achieved at each stage, such as changes can offer, useful time to self-reflect, learning to overcome fears and dealing with uncertainty. So just kind of thinking about the payoff, can be helpful as well. Number 4, I would say kind of what we've just spoke about. Expect to be uncomfortable. A time of transition can be confusing. It is a normal feeling to feel insecure and anxious, but these feelings are part of the process and they will pass. Absolutely. Number 5, I think it's a really big one. Stay sober. It is not a good idea to use alcohol or drugs at this difficult and confusing time. It might make things even more challenging. So I think it's very important to manage, your alcohol consumption or drug use during this time.
Yeah, staying sober. I want to hit on that too, because a lot of times people are so nervous. They're concerned about the transition, wanting it to go so well. They're nervous. They might have a drink or 2 or 3, and suddenly they're not sober, and so their thinking is a little bit off base. But staying sober, so important in these critical transitions. I love that. And then expecting it to be uncomfortable. I always tell people, including my kids, I always tell them, hey, look, that first year of being in a new city, a new job, give yourself some time, because it's going to take a while. You're going to be uncomfortable, but if you just focus on the tasks at hand, focus on the payoff, like you said, it's going to be okay. And staying sober and expect a little bit of uncomfortableness for a while, it'll come through in the end. But I'm enjoying these 8 strategies. Please continue.
Okay, number 6, build your support system. Seek the support of your friends, your family members. Transition period is a great opportunity to seek a counselor's assistance, and especially for someone that may have a limited support system, the counselor can definitely help guide them through the transition process in a safe and supportive environment. Number 7, acknowledge what you are leaving behind. The first step toward accepting the new is accepting and letting go of the past to make room for the new. And then number 8 is normal to feel as though your life is out of control. Find one tiny thing you can control right now to help you feel more in control.
Is there one aspect that you find people struggle with the most, Elizabeth?
I would say managing their thoughts, because our thoughts kind of drive every emotion, feeling that we have. So I find that people struggle the most with managing the thoughts that they're having, which is why number 8 is really, really important, because if you narrow that focus and focus on the thing that you can control, or even narrow it down to one tiny thing, then it gives you more of a sense of control over what's going on.
I love the list of 8. Is there a place where people can find that list and maybe some other helpful hints online?
Well, yes. Go to the Methodist EAP website, and all of our newsletters are on there. This was this month's newsletter, so they'll be able to access this information on there.
Okay, and what is the web address?
Methodist Healthcare Employee Assistance Program.org.
Okay, so methodisthealth.org.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right. Well, listen, Elizabeth Drain, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for laying it out for us, some of the issues that some people have when it comes to getting through those transitions in life. I think it really helped people to just kind of talk about it and let people know that, hey, this is a part of life. This is something that everyone goes through, and here's a way to handle it effectively. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you.
Meteorologist Patrick Ellis joining us now on the digital desk. And Patrick, a cool start to the day.
Most definitely. It feels so nice outside, and getting a beautiful sunrise in the making here this morning as we take a live look from our MDOT camera. This is actually coming from Phillips County, Arkansas, looking back towards Coahoma County this morning. I see the Highway 49 bridge going across the Mississippi River and the sun getting ready to rise over the banks of the Mississippi here very shortly. Right now, we've got temperatures that are running in the 40s and 50s this morning as you're stepping out the door. And overall, the weather is going to be pretty quiet for us. From the morning 40s and 50s, will rebound nicely towards 80 degrees before it's all said and done today. Again, you could not ask for a better day of weather here in the middle portion of October. This is basically right where we should be for this time of the year. Now, we'll say this, though, there is one caveat, and I feel like, I got to be the bearer of bad news, and it's not really even that much bad news. It's just the fact that something you should be cognizant of. Remember, it's been so dry as of late. It's been low humidity, dry ground, dry vegetation. Probably want to stay away from burning anything here today just because of the fact that, again, those embers could get away from you pretty quickly. And, of course, it could spread very quickly as well. So just something to be cognizant of. But otherwise, again, the weather pretty quiet for us here today. Now, there's not a ton of rain in the forecast. Now, if you were watching us last week, we talked about how there were two systems coming down the pipeline, one out of the Gulf of Mexico, the other one coming out of the Plain States. We've been kind of honing in on how those two would either come together or what we call phase, come together and bring us a better chance for rain, or they could kind of be split in between and we kind of get missed by one and then just kind of grazed by the other. Looks like we're leaning more towards a grazing of the second system that will likely come down the pipeline as we head towards the end of this week. In the meantime, we actually do have a weak front that's to the north of us that will swing through today. That will keep our temperatures pretty steady state. Again, upper 70s and low 80s. Beautiful day of weather across the area. A few passing clouds here tonight. Overnights in the 40s and 50s starting off on your Tuesday. And a rebound back to the upper 70s and near 80 degrees again for Tuesday. Clouds will begin to thicken up overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. That is that system down the Gulf of Mexico that will be pushing eastward. That, my friends, will likely bring us the clouds. Maybe a rogue shower for places like, say, Clarksdale or Oxford, but many spots will likely remain dry and quiet and actually will end up with sunshine by the afternoon hours of your Wednesday and likely to stay pretty quiet as we go into your Thursday as well, as we'll be in between the two systems. Again, that one system down the Gulf of Mexico, this is the moisture laden system that could have brought us a decent amount of rainfall. Now, for some folks down in South Louisiana, South Mississippi, South Alabama, Georgia, and into Florida, hey, finally getting some decent rainfall from a system, but nothing really getting shot all the way up here to the mid-south. This system is moisture starred. It'll have some moisture associated with it, but it just doesn't have a ton as it scoots eastward, but it will bring us some cooler weather heading us into the upcoming weekend. So upon the 7-day forecast, high temperatures in the upper 70s and lower 80s here today, tomorrow, really through the work week. There will be a chance for a couple of passing showers by Friday. That comes by way of that system coming out of the Plains states, shooting eastward. In the wake of that, we'll dry out and clear things out heading into the upcoming weekend. You got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. We've got a Friday game for the University of Memphis Tigers and Tulane at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Should be a fairly decent situation there. I think that most of the rain will be out of here pretty quickly, and we should dry out. Of course, from the optical standpoint, Saturday, the annular solar eclipse will go on. That starts late morning, continues through the early afternoon hours of Saturday. I think around the peak of it, I think it's around 12:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. And we should have a good view of it as long as we have sunshine across the area. Now, keep in mind, it's not going to be the ring of fire, at least here locally. You're going to see the moon move in front of the sun, but it will be at about 60% coverage. So if you want to find yourself underneath that ring of fire, you're going to go farther west, heading out towards Texas and Oklahoma. But still a cool sight nonetheless. And the next time that we will see an annular eclipse, I think is really like 2028, where we'll have a partial solar eclipse that will be going on. Or next time we see a total solar eclipse will be 2024. The next time we see a partial solar eclipse will be 2028 after that.
I want to talk now about National Fire Prevention Association because it is National Fire Prevention Week, October 8th through the 14th. And cooking, if you can believe it or not, is the leading cause of home fires and home fire injuries. And so the National Fire Protection Association is reminding all of us about some simple, easy, and important steps to take to reduce the risk of fire while cooking. I'm joined now on the Action News 5 digital desk by Andrea Vastis, a fire safety expert with the National Fire Prevention Association. Andrea, thanks so much for joining us here. How big of a problem is cooking-related fires? Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me today. You know, it is. You mentioned that it's the #1 cause of home fire and home fire injuries, and that is something that has remained. So even as over the last 40 years, the number of reported home fires has gone down, that hasn't changed. And these cooking fires account for about half of all home fires in general.
What is the theme this year? I know that there's usually a theme every year.
Yes. So this year, which is actually our 101st Fire Prevention Week, we came up with Cooking Safety Starts With You, Pay Attention to Fire Prevention. And that piece of it is really, you know, we talk about cooking being the #1 cause of home fire and home fire injuries, but the pay attention piece is really about the way in which we live. You know, everybody pretty much has a phone on them at any given time. And we're so trained to, you know, pay attention to that ding or that buzz whenever that happens. There's an incoming text or a Snapchat. Many of us are working from home, and therefore not only now are we working from home, we're multitasking, we're trying to fit in the different kinds of things we're doing, like cooking. And so it is those kinds of things that are starting to cause the issues that continue to plague us. staying with your cooking is such an important part of it. And it's really easy to get distracted. A package shows up at your door, you get that phone call or that text, turn your back for a moment, and it doesn't take very long for that grease or the material that you're cooking on your stovetop to ignite.
People watching this, Andrea, they might be thinking, "Oh man, I know this. This is fire, stuff. This stuff is for, people that don't know anything about this. I know this." Well, is there something that you could share that perhaps people think they know, but perhaps they might not be aware of?
Yeah, I think there's a few things here because the nature of fire, I think people don't realize how quickly fire grows, and that, for instance, a stovetop fire, once it ignites, you do have that moment where if you have a lid nearby and you slide that lid over the pan, turn off the burner, you can prevent that fire from happening. But if you have stepped away and you think that you're only gone for that 5 seconds or 10 seconds, once that fire ignites, it gets very big very quickly and grows. And I think that's one thing that people don't realize. I think the other thing that people don't realize is that in a home fire, we actually have less time to escape than we did 40 years ago. Today's home furnishings are full of synthetics, and we have more open floor plans and lightweight construction materials. And so that means that when a fire does happen, you actually have about 2 minutes, maybe even less from the time the smoke alarm sounds to get out safely, because that fire will burn hotter, faster, and have more toxic smoke associated with it.
You were mentioning earlier we're multitasking constantly. What happens when kids are walking in and out of the kitchen? How do we make sure that they're safe, and yet they want to contribute sometimes to, making dinner or making a meal, but we want to keep them safe too?
Absolutely. So on the stove top, we have a few things. We say, make sure to turn your pot handles inward, right? Off to the side and inward, so that no one is bumping, including the adults, bumping into things and knocking things over and spilling grease. If you're using things like crock pots, air fryers, the appliances that do get hot, make sure that they are plugged directly into the wall and that they are a distance away. And then really the role for young children is in the non-heating portion of things. Have them help with, chopping, have them help with prepping vegetables, setting the table, things like that. But honestly, the rule for young children is 3 feet away, 3 feet away from the stove, the oven, the grill, anywhere where hot foods and liquids are being served. Unfortunately, children under the age of 5 account for the majority of these contact burns and scald burns.
What is the proper method if there was a kitchen fire and we are supposed to put it out the right way?
Yeah, so, our tips are, stand by your, watch what you heat, and always have a lid nearby, or even a cookie sheet, right? A heavy sheet pan nearby. If that starts to smoke up or starts to flare up, you can slide that lid right over the pan, turn off the burner, and then just step away, let everything cool down. If it is too big of a fire, or when in doubt, we say just get out and stay out, call 911, and let the firefighters come do their job, because these fires, again, they grow very rapidly and very hot. So if it's small enough that you can throw the lid on, great. Otherwise, get out, call 911, and let the firefighters do their thing.
Okay, Andrea Vastas, fire safety expert with the National Fire Prevention Association, Protection Association. Andrea, thanks so much. Now, I want to talk about this event that is happening at Shelby Farms Park this weekend. Join us at Shelby Farms Park for a fun and fresh air as we walk around Hyde Lake. This is a walk in the park this Saturday from 3:30 until 5:30 in the evening. We're talking about healthy snacks, educational health information, free for all ages, registration at 3:30, stretching 3:45. The walk begins at 4, a weight management and wellness time. Let's bring in someone to talk more about this walk and some of the reasons behind it. I'm joined now by Dr. Matthew Davis here in the Action News 5 digital desk. And I know, Dr. Davis, we got Methodist Medical Group, the weight management and wellness team, hosting this fun walk. First, tell me more about it. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. We are always looking for ways to engage the community. We really are a community-focused practice, as I'm sure everyone in this community is touched by some degree of weight management, wellness questions, queries. You know, you may be on your weight management journey at the moment, and at any point of that, we definitely have options and would love to engage and talk to you. So this is really one of those points of engagement.
I know, Dr. Davis, you've been on the digital desk before. It's nice to have you back. When it comes to losing weight and managing a healthy weight throughout the year, what are some of the common barriers that people face out there?
Well, a lot of it is accessibility. Everyone has tried something, whether it's for a large amount of weight loss or just for weight maintenance, keeping yourself at the weight you're happy with. It's just really what works for you. Even this week, this month may not be next month or next year, or at different stages in your life, different, developmental stages, whether, in your teenage years it worked, but not in your 20s or 30s, or as you get older. Depending on new medical problems. So it's really what is the most accessible thing that the average person can do, that anyone can do at any given time. And that's where walking comes in. And that's why we're putting our focus on that.
Okay, and one more time, I want to show our audience here, because we have thousands of people that watch us each and every morning. This is the Walk in the Park. That's this Saturday, October 14th, 3:30 registration. The walk is at 4 o'clock, and it's going to go till about 5:30. Tell me why you're hosting a walk, Dr. Davis.
Well, just really getting back to that point of accessibility, we want, in our continuum of what we do for our patients, whether it's, lifestyle changes, weight loss medications, exercise, bariatric surgery, all the different options that we provide for our patients for large amounts and small amounts of weight loss. The goal is really to find something that works for every single person. The one-size-fits-all method really doesn't work, as I'm sure everyone has experience with. And even if something worked for you, it may not work for you again the next time. But that being said, for most people at most times, walking is the most accessible thing you can do. And, we're at that point of year where we're coming out of the heat. We haven't gotten into the cold yet. It's the perfect time to get out, lace up those shoes, walk around inside at the gym, at the Y, whatever it may be, because it's right there, it's easy, it's available, and that's really why we want to put our focus on this at this time.
Yeah, I'm looking at the forecast for Saturday. It's supposed to be spectacular, lots of sunshine, a cool breeze, and a cool day. I mean, the high is supposed to be around 70, but full sunshine. And it should be nice out there. I know that walking helps with blood pressure regulation. What else are some benefits of walking?
Walking helps really with everything. It's something that we keep coming back to in our surgical patients, because if anyone's recovered from any sort of surgery procedure, walking is really the way you can get, not just back on your feet literally, but really back on track with your health. But when we talk about, the most common things that people suffer with in relation to their weight, like you mentioned, blood pressure, blood sugar regulation, abnormalities of bowel function, just really getting things kind of back in regular and normalized in your body systems. And so getting up, moving, pumping the blood from your legs all the way up back to your heart, helps prevent blood clots. And really, the other thing that we're talking about here, as our society gets more and more sedentary, we want people to get up, get out, and move around. And really that just, aside from all the health benefits, there's the mental health aspect, the idea of getting out and experiencing nature and just taking a breather from your your daily grind, that itself, is a big part of it, because we find that the intersection between mental health and physical health is so important.
We know obesity is an issue that plagues our community, and WMC Action News 5, as you probably know, is a sponsor of Methodist Healthier 901 initiative. How does this event contribute to Healthier 901?
So most definitely, our Healthier 901 event, our goal of losing 1 million pounds in 3 years in the Mid-South region. Unfortunately, we represent a large epicenter of obesity and weight management issues in the country. And so we have a chance to be leaders. Our population, not just our practitioners, not just the medical doctors that are doing the work, but each and every one of us in this region has a chance to show the rest of the country, the rest of the area, that we are taking initiatives towards improving our health by improving our weight, improving our activity, and really focusing in on that. And so, getting up, getting out, and starting to walk is really one of the first steps that a person can take literally towards, managing their health.
One more time. Okay, we want to show people one more time the flyer for this weekend. This is a walk in a park. It's Saturday from 3:30 to 5:30. This is a free event, and you can register at 3:30. The walk begins at 4, and you can go to methodisthealth.org/healthwalk for more. Anything else, Doctor, before we let you go?
I think, it's really great to be able to see the participation in these events, and we have our public seminars for our other, weight management options, just seeing the community engaged. I think, what a lot of people are missing in their life is kind of control over their health, is being able to take part. You may not be able to even pronounce the weight loss medication that you're taking, but understanding that getting up and moving and, getting out and walking around is really, you bring yourself closer to managing your own health. So I think each and every one of us out there who's looking for something, this is a simple, easy, accessible step. And we really encourage everyone to take that first step and to get up, get out and walk, and join us on Saturday for our walk around the park, walk around the lake.
Okay, Dr. Matthew Davis, bariatric surgeon, Methodist Medical Group Weight Management and Wellness Team, talking about the big walk on Saturday at Shelby Farms Park. Dr. Davis, thank you very much for joining us on the Digital Desk.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Tennessee in 10, your news and weather across the state in about 10 minutes.
Good morning. I'm Amanda Hara at WSMV in Nashville. Thanks for joining us for Tennessee in 10. We're going to start in East Tennessee, where a mother says birthday balloons killed her daughter.
Good morning. I'm Whitney Turner in the WVLT newsroom. The Anderson County Sheriff's Office is investigating this morning after a 7-year-old girl died after apparently suffocating on a balloon. The girl's mother says this happened while her daughter was playing around with a foil balloon. She says she went to lie down, and when she got back, she found her daughter with the balloon over her head, face down on the floor.
She was wonderful. She so vivacious, independent. She loved crafts, swimming. Oh, she was a little fish. She was absolutely amazing. The sweetest little girl.
Authorities in Anderson County are warning parents to always keep an eye on your children, especially when they're playing with a choking hazard. Well, longtime WVLT anchor Alan Williams is among a group of Tennesseans still in Israel right now. This morning, he tells us he's safe and developing a contingency plan to leave the country if necessary. Williams and his group in Israel, they're there for a mission trip, and they're not far from the fighting.
We want to let you know that we're safe. So how safe are we? We're about 60 miles from our home base, which is Jerusalem. And so we are in the desert area. I've seen access to maybe 3 different military groups. One that was on the other side of the road when we were coming here, one at a gas station. We've heard some jets, and actually over the mountains here, I hear something going on over there. But right now, we are safe, and we want to let you know that we are vigilant.
In a letter to President Joe Biden, East Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett, along with several other state lawmakers, are urging the president to help and support Israel however possible by providing all weapons and munitions necessary. That letter was signed by both Tennessee Senators Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty, along with several other state representatives. In the WVLT newsroom, those are your top headlines across East Tennessee.
And I've been talking with Alan Williams this morning. He's my former co-anchor. He tells me that they are just navigating through lots of roadblocks and detours right now, but that they, for the most part, feel safe. A Tennessee fugitive wanted for child rape was arrested on a boat in Alaska. Adam Gabarra was wanted out of Humboldt, that's near Jackson. U.S. Marshals got a tip that he was living on a boat in Juneau and made the arrest. He's now being held at a jail there in Alaska and will be brought back to Tennessee soon. Smith & Wesson now has headquarters in Tennessee. It's bringing hundreds of jobs to Maryville, but not everyone is rolling out the welcome mat for this. People gathered Saturday for a ribbon cutting at the facility. That included protesters. Anna Caudill made the trip from Nashville. Her friend was one of the victims of the Covenant School shooting. She hopes Smith & Wesson brings solutions with its Tennessee headquarters.
It's hard to welcome a company to Tennessee that's going to ultimately lead in Tennesseans, volunteers creating weapons that are used against other Tennesseans. I hope that now that they're here, that Smith & Wesson will at least reach out and find out what they can do to repair and to do better.
Well, the company's president says people are free to disagree. The headquarters will handle distribution for the company. A warning this morning for people across Tennessee. An offer for a free cruise may show up in your mailbox, and it's likely too good to be true. One woman says that this flyer showed up in her mail offering a free week-long cruise just for attending an informative session. Another couple received a similar invitation in the mail. They went to the 90-minute presentation in Franklin. And when they went to sign up for the free trip, that's when they started questioning the legitimacy of the offer.
Not only was it asking us for money, but it was asking us for our routing number and account number.
Well, the Better Business Bureau says there might be fees associated with a trip that's advertised as free. That's why you should always look at the entire offer, even the fine print. We reached out to that company that sent the flyers. We are still waiting on a response. TSU students are fighting to get billions of dollars owed by the state of Tennessee. And now we are hearing where the governor stands on this. 2 federal agencies sent a letter to Governor Lee last month. They say Tennessee owes the HBCU $2 billion that wasn't paid out over the last 30 years. Governor Lee's senior advisor says the governor is focused on getting the ball rolling to make things right.
It won't be easy, of course, because there are a lot of entities that we have to deal with, but I'm very confident with the governor's cabinet, with the organizations, the general student body, that we will get it done.
We want our quality of campus experience to just be the best possible, and I think we're on the steps to achieving that.
Right now, the governor is trying to figure out the immediate needs of the campus before tackling the budget.
Good morning. I'm Taylor Tucker. Here are your top stories from the Mid-South. The death toll on the attack on Israel left at least 700 people. That includes at least 4 Americans dead. We sat down with Memphis Rabbi Micah Greenstein. He leads Temple Israel here in Memphis. He was on his way when the war broke out, and as fighting continues, he said it's about evil and being able to know wherever you live, you can go to sleep and not be terrorized. Greenstein says he's praying for the Jewish people and for their peace.
America is Israel's greatest ally because we share the same values of democracy and freedom and a civilized society, not a dark one that leads to what happened in Israel yesterday.
Over the weekend, President Biden said the U.S. is and always will be by Israel's side, ordering several U.S. military vessels to the war zone. And all clear at Graceland, visitors had to evacuate after a bomb threat was reported. Memphis responded to the threat just before 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. Officers then helped everyone evacuate across the street. Investigators searched Graceland and did not find any threats. Those are your headlines from the Mid-South.
You're watching Tennessee in 10, your news and weather across the state in about 10 minutes.
Okay, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 digital desk. We have the midday report coming up with Ariana Poindexter. Spencer Denton's going to be doing the meteorology and going to have your 7-day forecast, which looks really nice over the next 7 days going into the weekend. I'm looking at it right now. Very little chances of rain. There's going to be lots of sunshine, cooler temperatures too. It's certainly going to feel like fall. And then, of course, Ariana Poindexter has the top headlines and some of the top stories that we are following today. So be sure to join them. And then tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 o'clock, we will crank up another edition of the Action News 5 digital desk. Don't forget, you can find us on channel 907 on Xfinity. We broadcast also on digital channel 5.5, and then all your digital platforms. You got Amazon Video, you got Roku, YouTube, and Apple TV, in addition to the free news app and actionnews5.com. Have a great one.